you know, we thoroughly enjoy what we do. I mean, that's why we started this thing. It just seems to get more and more enjoyable, really. And now, you know, we've got quite a big back catalogue, so we can kind of rotate a little bit and amuse ourselves, you know, and do some odd cover versions. But, you know, the main thrust of those songs that we wrote in the 80s is still really what resonates, you know, through the decades.
But the beauty of it is that it's not you're just trading on those songs that you recorded 25 years ago. You've been making albums all the way through since then, and just as recently as last year.
Yeah.
Will there be more new music as well?
Well, we hope so, yeah. I mean, we had about 8 years out from about 1984, and then we came back, and there was a huge, you know, surge of popularity. We played in London, we played to 70,000 people. And we suddenly thought maybe there is more to this than we realised. But yeah, there was a sort of crossroads. Either we could have stayed down a sort of 80s nostalgia path, or make some new records. And you know, it's obviously a challenge if you've written Our House and Baggy Trousers, you know, to write songs that are going to stand up against those songs. So we spent a lot of time. We did an album called The Liberty of Norton Folgate, which really changed the whole perception of the band. And then we got a new album out.
Concept album in a way, wasn't it?
It was a kind of concept album, yeah. It's about a small piece of London called The Liberty of Norton Folgate, which was actually outside the jurisdiction of the authorities for a very long time, and it just disappeared because there were no records of it, no written records. And then our last album, Can't Touch Us Now, which is doing extremely well certainly in Britain. Yeah, so you just, you know, you keep the kettle boiling, and as long as you're still enjoying it, which we are, you know, and you're feeling that you still have something you want to say, which I do.
But you know, you have to be out there, out front. You've become a very recognisable frontman over the years.
Yeah.
Not least your moves and everything else. Do you feel any pressure on stage to just keep, you know,
keep that going?
Keep that going.
Not really. No. I mean, you know, obviously when you're young, you know, it's a lot more frenetic, you know. I mean, I can't remember too much about the first 5 years, you know. It was just a blur of arms and legs and hats flying in the air. It's funny when I see film, like there's a film called Dance Craze, which was made during the Two-Tone tour in, I don't know, 1980. It was us, the Specials and Selector. And just the energy of those gigs is completely wild, you know. Because that period had just come off the back of punk, so it was still that kind of level of energy, but obviously the music was going a little bit more groovy, for want of a better word. Not much, no, apart from it just being really thoroughly exciting. You know, I mean, I was 18 when we set off on that tour, and we rotated the bill, so we took it in turns to headline. And as we were travelling around the country, this phenomenon was really taking off. You know, it was a really massive thing in Britain, that whole two-tone thing.
There was always talk about being a rivalry between Madness and the Specials as
Yeah.
well. How much of that was true and how much of it was made up?
Well, yeah, there was a rivalry, yeah, but, you know, kind of healthy one. I mean, I loved the Specials. They were my best band I ever saw live, I think. But yeah, of course, it was great. You know, they'd put a single out and you'd be really keen to hear where they were going, and vice versa. And so for quite some time we were, you know, in parallel. And yeah, it was just a shame then when they, you know, split up, and then they fell out, you know, in such a way that it was a bit irreconcilable, which is a shame. You know, I think, again, the advantage we had, because we were friends, you know, I mean, the Specials were a group of musicians who met and formed a band, and I think that ultimately being friends is what's kept it going through the darker periods, you know, which happens to all bands.
Now, Bluesfest is Madness's last show in Australia this time, but you're not done in Australia by any means.
No.
Can you tell us a little bit about why you're here?
Yeah,
longer?
Yeah, I've been doing a one-man show in England called My Life Story, imaginatively titled, in words and music, and basically it was my 50th birthday, and I was lying in the bath. I'd had my party the night before, and I was feeling particularly hungover, when my favourite cat jumped on a shelf and fell off and died. And it's sort of black comedy, but it seemed so tragic at the time because I was feeling a bit, You know, like half a century of my life has gone, and now this. You know, my kids have left home, and I thought maybe it would be time to reflect on all the craziness that has gone on in the last 50 years. And the cat dying was a kind of catalyst. For me, thinking about fate, you know, and all the crossroads and the different paths my life might have taken me. You know, so much of this is about luck and, you know, even bumping into the people who were in the band in the very first place.
And you seem to have an endless mine of stories to tell while you're on stage.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, I mean, you think, you know, I've been in some pretty crazy situations, you know, over 50 years in this very peculiar business. So, yeah, there's plenty to talk about. But, yeah, so I talk seriously about growing up and, you know, I didn't know my father and there's that sort of side of things. And then, yeah, you know, just how this kid from North London became what people now recognise as Sudds. And I've got a keyboard player, we play a few songs and, yeah, tell a few stories.
Well, you've had a great career with Madness, but you've had a, you know, multifaceted career on radio and television.
Yeah.
As a writer as well. What's left to do?
I think there's still a bit more for the band to do. Definitely, we're getting very excited about songwriting again. I mean, because of this one-man show, I've been thinking about maybe doing a bit more acting. In fact, I'm in the process of writing another show that might be a bit more theatrical. I'm not sure yet. I mean, I've dabbled in it, but I've never really never acted seriously. So maybe something along those lines. I don't know yet.
So if there is another Madness record, we might see you back in Australia then?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame really because we love Australia, but it's just quite literally the other end of the earth, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we hope to see you here. Suggs, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you. Great stuff.